Hello, and welcome to your AI News Roundup for June 19th, 2026. Today we cover massive developments in the tech world. Kazakhstan has launched a $10 billion AI data center valley with Nvidia backing. Meanwhile, the IPO boom surrounding OpenAI and Anthropic is set to redefine the future of artificial intelligence. Stay tuned. News number 1. Kazakhstan has unveiled a $10 billion AI data center valley backed by Nvidia for major infrastructure development. The initiative focuses on establishing a large-scale computing hub within the country, leveraging Nvidia hardware to facilitate advanced AI operations. This strategic investment aims to position Kazakhstan as a significant regional player in AI infrastructure and data processing. The project involves constructing cutting-edge facilities designed to handle massive computational loads required for foundation model training and complex inference tasks. The backing from Nvidia signals a deep commitment to integrating advanced GPU technology into the region's digital economy, creating opportunities for local developers and enterprises seeking to scale AI operations. This move is part of a broader effort by Kazakhstan to attract high-tech investment and establish itself as a key hub for AI development in Central Asia. News number 2. U.S. export restrictions on Anthropic's AI models are intensifying geopolitical tensions across global alliances. The United States has implemented new export controls targeting advanced AI models developed by Anthropic, placing significant strain on existing international technology partnerships. These restrictions specifically limit the transfer of certain foundational models and related infrastructure components to specific foreign entities. The action targets the flow of high-capability AI technology that supports critical research and defense applications. The move places pressure on allied nations to navigate complex regulatory environments while maintaining their collaborative strategies in the rapidly evolving AI landscape. This development highlights a growing divergence in global AI governance, forcing nations to recalibrate their alliances regarding sensitive technological assets. Industry observers note that this action complicates existing bilateral agreements concerning technology, sharing, and intellectual property. The implications extend beyond market access, affecting how allied nations manage sovereign control over cutting-edge machine learning capabilities. News number 3. The combined IPO boom in artificial intelligence firms is reshaping the San Francisco real estate market. OpenAI and Anthropic are leading this trend as their respective initial public offerings contribute to soaring property values across the Bay Area. This financial surge has directly impacted commercial and residential real estate, driving up costs in the competitive tech hub. The increased capital flow is directly correlated with the valuation of AI-focused companies, creating a significant economic shift for San Francisco. The boom reflects heightened investor confidence in large language model infrastructure and future generative AI revenue streams. This market movement signals a major realignment of investment priorities within the tech sector. Competitors are now closely tracking these valuations as they assess the competitive positioning of foundational model developers entering the public markets. The resulting escalation in real estate prices serves as a tangible indicator of the AI industry's transformative economic power. News number 4. OpenAI has implemented enhanced control mechanisms for its ChatGPT enterprise offering, tightening governance over data access and deployment environments. The update, released on Tuesday, focuses on bolstering enterprise security protocols by introducing granular permission settings within the API infrastructure. This change allows organizations to define specific scope boundaries for model inference requests, minimizing exposure risks associated with large-scale deployments. The new controls mandate multi-factor authentication across all administrative access points and introduce mandatory audit logging for all fine-tuning operations performed on custom enterprise datasets. This move positions OpenAI to address growing regulatory demands from large corporate clients, specifically targeting compliance requirements in the financial services sector. Competitors like Anthropic are currently focusing on similar governance layers as they scale their Claude models, intensifying the race towards secure, highly regulated foundation model deployment. The implementation of these controls is live across all existing enterprise subscriptions globally. News number 5. Amazon is in discussions to sell custom AI chips as part of a strategy aimed at undercutting Nvidia's market dominance in the high-performance computing sector. The negotiation centers on Amazon's efforts to establish proprietary silicon designed specifically for large-scale foundation model inference and training workloads. Sources indicate that this move positions Amazon to reduce reliance on third-party hardware vendors by developing bespoke architectures, potentially offering significant cost savings on complex AI infrastructure. The proposed chips are being developed internally to optimize performance metrics against Nvidia's current offerings in the GPU space. This strategic pursuit reflects a broader industry trend where hyperscalers are investing heavily in custom silicon to gain an edge over generalized market providers. The talks involve assessing the viability of deploying these specialized chips for Amazon's massive data center operations, which require extreme optimization for large-scale deep learning training. If successful, this initiative could reshape the competitive landscape by introducing a viable alternative for high-volume AI compute solutions outside of existing vendor ecosystems. News number 6. Intel and Supermicro surged following developments in the semiconductor sector, driven by a recent trade agreement and broader market recovery. The surge saw Intel and Supermicro react positively to ongoing discussions regarding a potential chip deal with Apple, coinciding with a general post-Fed rebound in the semiconductor market. This movement was reflected in the broader sector, with the SOXX index climbing 6.6%. The rally highlights investor focus on geopolitical trade dynamics intersecting with the cyclical recovery of hardware demand. The increased valuation is tied directly to the perceived stability offered by the potential chip arrangements and the easing economic conditions post-interest rate adjustments. This suggests that specific trade negotiations are now influencing sector sentiment, pushing major players like Intel and Supermicro higher as market forces realign themselves following macroeconomic shifts. News number 7. A recent market shift has fueled a broad rally across the AI semiconductor sector, led by Intel's performance gains. Intel's stock surged by 12% following investor activity centered around the broader AI chip market. This upward momentum was joined by significant gains from AMD and Micron, demonstrating a synchronized recovery in hardware valuation. The rally is attributed to perceived demand shifts stemming from recent large-scale corporate deals impacting AI infrastructure spending. This movement highlights a competitive realignment where major semiconductor players are responding directly to enterprise appetite for specialized computing power. The collective performance underscores the intense competition among Intel, AMD, and Micron as they vie for market share in high-performance AI accelerators. News number 8. The Department of Justice has stepped in to represent xAI in a lawsuit concerning data center gas turbine operations. This intervention highlights the growing regulatory friction between hyperscale AI infrastructure development and established energy utility standards. The legal action centers on the operational parameters and environmental compliance related to the use of gas turbines within xAI's massive data center facilities. The intervention by the DOJ signals a significant escalation in scrutiny over how large-scale AI operations interface with critical energy infrastructure. This case addresses the complex regulatory landscape governing industrial power consumption and emissions associated with scaling foundation model compute demands. The lawsuit involves determining compliance with utility regulations regarding energy usage, which is crucial given xAI's rapid expansion of computational resources. The intervention places a spotlight on the intersection of cutting-edge AI deployment and legacy energy infrastructure protocols. This move underscores the increasing legal challenges faced by companies pushing the boundaries of data center density and energy consumption in regulated markets. News number 9. Microsoft has identified an expanded attack surface within M365 Copilot Search, highlighting increased vulnerability related to prompt injection attacks. This security exposure arises from how user prompts interact with the underlying large language model infrastructure powering the search feature. The vulnerability specifically targets the input mechanisms used by Copilot, allowing malicious inputs to potentially bypass intended safety protocols and manipulate the system's outputs. Security researchers indicate that this expansion creates a wider vector for prompt injection exploits targeting enterprise data accessed via M365 applications. This development emphasizes the critical need for rigorous input sanitization across all LLM-driven features within the Microsoft ecosystem. Industry experts are now focusing on how organizations can implement stronger guardrails to mitigate these sophisticated attacks and secure proprietary information against prompt manipulation. News number 10. Microsoft has disclosed a critical vulnerability where web-enabled AI agents can trigger host-level remote code execution. Security researchers have reported that these agents, when interacting with web endpoints, possess capabilities that allow them to exploit flaws in the underlying system architecture, potentially leading to full host compromise. This vulnerability stems from how the agent processes and executes commands received through external web interfaces, enabling a chain of exploitation that bypasses traditional host isolation boundaries. The finding highlights a significant risk for systems deploying sophisticated AI agents across enterprise environments. The potential impact is severe, as successful exploitation allows an attacker to gain RCE privileges directly on the host machine. This necessitates immediate review of agent interaction protocols and sandboxing mechanisms within these platforms. Industry focus is now shifting toward hardening the runtime environment to mitigate risks associated with external input processing in foundation models. News number 11. Anthropic has unveiled Phase 2 of its Project Fetch initiative, detailing significant advancements in long-context reasoning capabilities for foundation models. The updated architecture now processes context windows up to 1 million tokens, allowing for more complex inference tasks than previous iterations. This development was detailed in a technical release on Tuesday, focusing specifically on improving the model's ability to maintain coherence over extended input sequences. While specific benchmark scores are still being finalized, internal testing indicated a 20% improvement in logical consistency across multi-document reasoning tasks compared to Phase 1. This move positions Anthropic directly against competitors aiming for enterprise-grade long-context processing. The advancement is critical as the industry shifts focus toward enabling large context windows for complex RAG and knowledge retrieval applications in production environments. News number 12. Google DeepMind has released a comprehensive roadmap detailing plans to monitor and implement blocking mechanisms for autonomous AI agents. The strategy outlines a multi-phase approach focusing on developing advanced detection systems capable of identifying malicious or unintended agent behaviors before deployment. This initiative involves developing sophisticated guardrails designed to enforce safety protocols across complex operational environments. The roadmap details specific technical milestones, including the integration of real-time monitoring APIs and the establishment of dynamic blocking policies within large-scale agent frameworks. This move positions DeepMind at the forefront of agent safety research, addressing critical scaling challenges inherent in deploying increasingly autonomous systems. Competitors are rapidly iterating on their own control mechanisms, making this proactive approach a significant competitive differentiator in the rapidly evolving landscape of foundation model deployment. The roadmap emphasizes developing scalable methods for inference monitoring to ensure operational integrity and mitigate potential risks associated with unsupervised AI execution. News number 13. The Department of Justice has issued a statement positioning Grok's regulatory challenge as more significant than environmental concerns. The DOJ intervention targets the rapidly evolving landscape surrounding Grok, signaling heightened scrutiny on the platform's content moderation policies and compliance frameworks. While specific details regarding financial penalties or operational restructuring have not been disclosed, the statement emphasizes that the scope of the investigation extends beyond typical consumer protection issues, focusing instead on systemic risks associated with large-scale generative AI deployment. This action introduces new regulatory pressure points for foundation model developers grappling with content governance and liability across their inference systems. Industry observers are tracking how this decision might influence future compliance mandates for proprietary models, setting a precedent for how federal agencies approach the oversight of commercially deployed artificial intelligence. The move underscores the growing imperative for AI firms to establish robust internal auditing mechanisms related to data sourcing and output generation protocols. News number 14. The Center for Humane Technology has launched a new fellowship program aimed at addressing critical gaps in AI governance and policy. This initiative seeks to establish expertise by focusing on the intersection of advanced model development and ethical regulation. The program is specifically designed to explore what AI policy truly needs, moving beyond theoretical discussions into actionable frameworks. The fellowship focuses on equipping participants with the necessary skills to analyze the regulatory landscape surrounding large foundation models and their deployment strategies. Participants will engage in deep dives into the complexities of risk assessment and ethical alignment protocols currently being debated across the industry. This effort directly addresses the growing demand for practical expertise in governing rapidly evolving generative AI systems. By fostering this research, CHT aims to contribute concrete recommendations to policymakers regarding responsible innovation. The fellowship provides a structured environment for researchers and practitioners to collaborate on developing robust frameworks that ensure safe and equitable AI development globally. News number 15. Policy shifts and scaling production are accelerating investment in the humanoid robotics sector as the industry enters a critical growth phase. Investor interest is currently focused on the humanoid robot ETF, which has seen significant capital inflows following recent legislative support aimed at domestic manufacturing and technology deployment. Analysts point to increased supply chain stability and government incentives as primary drivers for this sectoral shift. The market sentiment reflects expectations that mass production timelines will be met, moving the sector beyond initial pilot projects into commercial scaling. This development is particularly relevant as companies refine their operational deployment strategies across various global markets. The push toward physical mass production is directly correlated with supportive regulatory frameworks, which are streamlining the path for large-scale industrial deployment. This transition signals a move from pure R&D focus to tangible output and market penetration among key players in the robotics space. News number 16. Two distinct AI agents have successfully signed the first Ricardian contract, marking a significant milestone in decentralized agent deployment. Clawbank and Shodai announced that these two proprietary agents finalized the agreement, demonstrating operational capabilities within the emerging framework of autonomous AI systems. This development highlights the growing focus on applying advanced reasoning models to complex financial agreements outside traditional blockchain protocols. The transaction involves deploying novel agent architectures for complex task execution, signaling a shift in how decentralized finance frameworks are leveraging AI for automated contract negotiation and execution. This move positions these agents at the forefront of integrating sophisticated fine-tuning techniques into real-world economic applications. News number 17. Cummins stock surge following a major new deal driven by escalating power demand within AI data centers. The surge reflects increased infrastructure requirements as large-scale AI computations drive exponential energy consumption in critical facilities. This development stems from the rapidly growing need for reliable, high-capacity power solutions to support next-generation computing demands. The new agreement positions Cummins at the forefront of supplying essential power infrastructure necessary for hyperscale data centers powering foundation models and complex machine learning operations. The deal addresses the massive electrical requirements associated with deploying advanced AI workloads, moving beyond traditional power supply constraints. This shift underscores the critical link between energy logistics and the scaling of the AI sector. The new contract establishes Cummins as a key provider in meeting these high-demand specifications for data center power systems. This infrastructure focus is vital for managing the intense inference demands generated by cutting-edge AI models. The deal highlights how industrial power solutions are directly influencing the speed and scope of AI deployment globally. News number 18. The competition between AMD and Nvidia is intensifying as they vie for dominance in the next generation of AI semiconductors powering CPUs, GPUs, and robotics. Nvidia maintains its lead by leveraging its CUDA ecosystem, currently commanding over 85% market share in high-end AI accelerators, largely driven by its H100 series GPUs. AMD, meanwhile, is aggressively pursuing parity through its MI300 series, focusing on offering competitive performance benchmarks while targeting enterprise data center deployments and specific robotics applications where chip efficiency is paramount. AMD recently announced a strategic partnership with major automotive manufacturers to integrate its architecture into autonomous vehicle systems, demonstrating a focus on specialized inference workloads. Nvidia continues to push high-throughput foundation model training, emphasizing software integration and developer tools like TensorRT for optimized inference performance. The competition centers on maximizing performance per watt and optimizing fine-tuning capabilities for massive parameter counts across both platforms. This hardware race is directly influencing the trajectory of future AI deployment strategies globally. News number 19. El Salvador is advancing a global framework aimed at ensuring artificial intelligence development prioritizes human values and ethical considerations. The UNESCO initiative marks a significant step in integrating human rights and cultural perspectives into the discourse surrounding AI governance. This movement signals a shift toward defining regulatory standards that prioritize societal well-being over purely technological capability. The agreement seeks to establish principles for developing and deploying AI systems that are equitable, transparent, and accountable across diverse communities. This framework aims to address critical concerns regarding algorithmic bias and data privacy as these technologies scale globally. By centering the development process on human input, El Salvador is positioning itself as a key advocate for ethical AI development in the Americas. This push aligns regional policy with international standards for responsible innovation, setting a benchmark for how nations approach large-scale foundation model deployment and inference across their digital infrastructure. News number 20. A politician has proposed a new tax structure targeting publicly traded artificial intelligence companies. Senator Sanders has introduced a proposal seeking to implement a tax on stocks related to artificial intelligence, aiming to adjust the financial mechanisms surrounding the sector's growth. The measure targets the valuation of specific AI equities within the market. While the full details of the legislative proposal are still being finalized, the intent is to influence how these companies manage and report their earnings. This move comes amid ongoing debates regarding the concentration of power and investment within the foundation model ecosystem. Industry analysts are watching closely to see if this proposal will affect capital flows or the long-term investment strategies of major players in the AI space. The proposal seeks to redefine the financial parameters governing these rapidly evolving technology firms, potentially impacting future IPO valuations and corporate tax structures across the sector. News number 21. A major foundation model has released its latest iteration, pushing reasoning benchmarks to new territory while significantly lowering inference costs for enterprise users. The new architecture, launched on Tuesday, demonstrates a 4.5% increase in performance across the MMLU and GSM-8K datasets compared to its predecessor, achieving a novel score of 88% on the complex mathematical reasoning test. Furthermore, API pricing for the model has been adjusted, dropping the cost per million tokens from $12.50 to $9.85, a move designed to democratize access for fine-tuning operations across smaller organizations. This release follows aggressive competitive moves by rivals who have focused on multimodal integration rather than pure reasoning capacity. The updated parameters total 1.4 trillion, reflecting significant architectural changes aimed at improving efficiency during the inference phase. News number 22. Artificial intelligence is entering the field of hypertension management, raising critical questions about the timeline between technological promise and clinical implementation. Experts are emphasizing that while AI models demonstrate significant potential for predicting cardiovascular risks and personalizing treatment plans, regulatory frameworks remain underdeveloped. The core challenge lies in translating complex algorithmic predictions into actionable, safe medical protocols for patient care. Research published in Curious highlights the necessity of establishing rigorous validation standards before these tools can be widely deployed in clinical settings. This push underscores a crucial competitive move where AI developers must balance innovation with the stringent demands of medical efficacy and regulatory compliance. The focus is shifting from purely predictive accuracy to ensuring that sophisticated machine learning inferences translate reliably into tangible patient outcomes, demanding immediate attention from both data scientists and healthcare regulators. News number 23. A new spatially interpretable artificial intelligence framework has been developed for tailoring neoadjuvant dual HER2 blockade in HER2-positive breast cancer. Researchers have introduced this novel AI methodology designed to analyze tumor spatial data, providing a mechanism for highly personalized treatment strategies in oncology. The framework utilizes advanced machine learning techniques to map and interpret tissue morphology, aiming to predict optimal therapeutic responses based on spatial relationships within the tumor microenvironment. This approach moves beyond traditional imaging analysis by incorporating spatial context directly into the prediction models. The goal is to facilitate tailored neoadjuvant dual HER2 blockade, significantly improving treatment efficacy for patients with HER2-positive breast cancer. By leveraging spatially interpretable AI, clinicians can gain deeper insights into tissue organization, allowing for more precise and individualized therapeutic decisions. This research marks a significant step in integrating advanced spatial AI into precision oncology. News number 24. The CCPS has initiated a new framework aimed at mitigating the spread of false narratives and regulating AI deployment across its platforms. This initiative targets deepfake generation and synthetic media, focusing on real-time detection mechanisms deployed via their open-source API infrastructure. The policy was officially announced on October 15th, establishing specific guardrails for foundation models utilized within the CCPS ecosystem. The framework mandates that any model exceeding a parameter count of 70 billion must undergo mandatory adversarial testing before public inference is permitted. Furthermore, the system requires developers to implement watermarking protocols on all generated outputs, with penalties defined by token usage and false narrative propagation rates. This move positions CCPS as a central regulator in the rapidly evolving AI governance space, directly addressing concerns over synthetic media proliferation. The framework specifically targets the operational phase of model deployment, requiring real-time auditing of data pipelines to prevent the generation of misleading content at scale. This regulatory push follows recent industry calls for standardized accountability in large-scale generative AI operations. News number 25. An AI company CEO recently stated that artificial intelligence is having lasting impacts across the United States. The remarks emphasize the sustained evolution and real-world integration of foundation models within the domestic market. The CEO discussed how recent deployments have shifted enterprise focus from pure model performance to operationalizing these systems, noting that localized inference capabilities are now critical for addressing regional regulatory demands. This shift is driven by increased investment in fine-tuning techniques designed to reduce latency and enhance data security across different state lines. Industry observers point out this sentiment aligns with the growing competitive moves among major players attempting to localize proprietary models rather than relying solely on centralized cloud infrastructure. The focus remains on how these technological impacts translate into tangible economic shifts within U.S. sectors, positioning AI adoption as a long-term infrastructural change rather than a short-term product cycle. News number 26. A childhood game is reportedly being used to introduce foundational concepts of artificial intelligence to Elon Musk's younger cohort. Reports indicate that a specific educational initiative has leveraged established gaming mechanics to teach basic AI principles to campers. The program focuses on conceptual understanding rather than complex coding or deep learning architecture. While specific parameters are not yet public, sources suggest the curriculum utilizes interactive simulations designed to introduce concepts like reinforcement learning and algorithmic decision-making. This approach aims to build intuitive understanding of how agents learn and optimize outcomes through play. The initiative is reportedly taking place across several educational centers, focusing on early exposure to computational thinking relevant to modern foundation model development. Industry observers note this move aligns with the growing emphasis on interdisciplinary education for future AI talent pipelines. The goal is to foster a strong conceptual base before transitioning participants into more rigorous machine learning frameworks and deep learning practices. News number 27. A prominent music figure has addressed the complex issues of consent and compensation surrounding artificial intelligence in the music industry. In a recent commentary, Jimmy Jam discussed the evolving landscape of intellectual property rights and financial remuneration for AI-generated content. The conversation centered on the ethical implications of using generative models without explicit consent or fair pay structures. Jam explored how existing copyright frameworks struggle to accommodate the input data used by foundation models, raising critical questions about ownership and attribution in the digital music sphere. The discussion highlighted the challenges facing artists whose work is used to train these sophisticated systems, examining whether current licensing models adequately compensate creators for their contributions to AI training datasets. This dialogue positions the debate at the intersection of technology development and established legal frameworks governing creative works. It underscores the urgent need for updated policies regarding data usage and royalties as AI music generation scales. News number 28. A startup has announced a breakthrough in large language model development that addresses a critical limitation currently constraining LLM scalability. Researchers have demonstrated a novel architecture that significantly reduces the computational overhead associated with parameter scaling, effectively circumventing the bottleneck holding back advanced LLMs. The innovation centers on a new fine-tuning methodology that allows models to achieve performance parity with larger counterparts using approximately 40% fewer training tokens. This development was detailed in a recent publication by MIT Technology Review, focusing on how efficient attention mechanisms minimize redundant calculations during inference. The breakthrough allows for more effective parameter utilization, meaning the same computational budget can now yield significantly higher reasoning scores across complex benchmarks. While the specific benchmark results are still being finalized, early indicators suggest models utilizing this approach show a 15% improvement in logical consistency compared to similarly sized models. This move challenges current scaling paradigms and opens up new avenues for deploying high-capacity LLMs on resource-constrained hardware. News number 29. Agentic marketing AI startup Gradial has successfully secured $65 million in fresh funding. The venture, specializing in agentic marketing solutions, closed the round in a significant move for the sector. Gradial's new capital injection targets scaling its infrastructure for complex multi-step marketing campaigns powered by autonomous agents. This funding is aimed at expanding their R&D efforts and increasing the deployment of their core AI platform across enterprise clients. The capital infusion comes amid heightened investment in agentic frameworks, signaling a strong market appetite for automated workflows beyond simple generative models. The funding was announced recently by Gradial to support its expansion strategy. This move positions the startup directly within the rapidly evolving landscape, where sophisticated fine-tuning and advanced inference techniques are critical for delivering practical business outcomes from foundation models. The investment underscores the industry's shift toward deploying truly autonomous AI agents capable of executing complex marketing strategies end-to-end. News number 30. Match Awards has introduced Mold Awards, a new agentic AI layer designed to enhance autonomous workflows and procurement intelligence for AI agents. This new framework provides a structured layer enabling sophisticated AI agents to execute complex, multi-step tasks autonomously across various operational environments. Mold Awards focuses on bridging the gap between general LLMs and actionable execution by providing specialized tools for agent coordination. It integrates capabilities specifically tailored for managing autonomous workflows, allowing agents to initiate and manage end-to-end processes without constant human intervention. Furthermore, the system incorporates procurement intelligence modules, giving agents the ability to analyze vendor data, negotiate terms, and track supply chain dynamics within their operational scope. This development positions Mold Awards as a critical infrastructure layer for enterprise AI deployment, moving beyond simple prompting toward true agentic autonomy in complex business settings. It signals a shift towards specialized tooling that allows foundational models to translate into tangible, autonomous business functions. Thank you for watching today's AI News. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe and hit that like button. Join our community for more deep dives into the future of technology. Tomorrow, we will explore the biggest AI developments of the week.